a while. Since the season, when you finish that way, I'm talking record-wise, there's some things that have to change. We need to do differently. Things we need to do to change up, our roster as much as anything. We're so excited about the new facility that's coming up. As we went into recruiting, of course, that's been a big positive for us. Coaching staff-wise, as you talk about ways to improve our ball club from last week, we have to do a better job coaching, and we'll do that. Have a couple open positions. Kind of put that on the back burner a little bit, but you're constantly, of course, looking at ways to set your staff up if it comes to that. But we don't have anything to report on staff changes or anything like that, new additions to the staff yet, but we'll get on that. But with our roster, we have been working tirelessly, out recruiting on the recruiting trail. Our recruiting department, I'm talking about James Kirkland, Pat Embleton, and the rest of the crew, have done a great job keeping us organized. But our staff that's going out on the road, we have an excellent staff of recruiters. We have great teachers on the football field, but guys that really believe in our university and know how to sell our university. As we went out, as we were selling our university, we talked about our commitment, or the commitment from our university, from our athletic director, Josh Whitman, to me, and of course our staff. That was big. Parents, student athletes wanted to know where we were. We knew what our record has been during this time, but what we saw is that guys, prospect, future Fighting Illini members believed in what we're doing and wanted to be a part of it. So this class that we have coming in, really excited about it. Right now the class if you just look at the number, our numbers are down a little bit. Talk about the amount of guys we signed today. But in that class, I feel like we have some special players. As far as where we'll be ranked in the end, you guys will do that. I just know from our staff, we feel real good about it. As we kind of look at how recruiting is going around here in the last years or so, I guess a longer period of time, last 10 years or so, one of our athletes that we have going in, as you talk about our top athletes coming in right now, we want champions, guys that know how to win. A couple of players that would be on our roster. Isaiah Williams led his team to a state championship. Moses Akpala led his team to a state championship. We had a couple of others that Nick Verdanda, Evan Kurtz, that were run up, with their state playoff team. So we have some guys on teams that have done a good job with that. You just talk individually a little bit too. Area-wise, of course, Illinois, we have players from our home state, which will always be where we start. But there are other close areas. St. Louis was very good to us this year. We didn't do as much in Florida this year, but we hit a little bit more in Texas. So we really, again, like the different areas, and we'll continue to recruit harder in those areas as we go forward. Individually, Marquez Beeson. Marquez is playing in the state championship this week. I think most people that know recruiting, talk about recruiting, will say that he's one of the top players in the country, on everybody's list. And he and his family bought into what we were saying in our program early on. He'll play cornerback for us. Again, he plays in the state championship in Texas this weekend. Had a chance to see him play last week. Be an outstanding corner for us. Mentioned Isaiah Williams early on. Coach Patterson, of course, had a chance to coach him throughout his career. But what he'll bring to the table too. Had a chance to see him in person also play. So at the quarterback position, he's athletic. He can make all the throws, great leadership abilities. So those two guys will highlight this class. But then there's others. Keefe Randolph, a defensive lineman from down south in our state. Had a lot, and these guys I'm talking about, they all had opportunities to go other places. He'll play the defensive end position for us. Excellent basketball player. I talked about Moses Okpalo. He'll be a defensive lineman for us also. Seth Coleman. So on the defensive side of the football, you know our numbers. We felt like we had to, add some good football players to that side of the football, and we're able to do that. Class-wise as a whole, we have guys that we feel, this is our third class. Third class should be your best class. And so we really feel good about it. But the class is incomplete right now, too. We have some other additions that will be coming. Maybe days, just in our future, some other players will add to this list. And I just feel like this class will kind of change Illinois football. And that's exactly what type of class we need to bring in. Say again, our staff did an excellent job. All of them are here. Of course, they can probably talk in detail a little bit better about our recruits coming in. But it was a group effort. We have some guys that kind of spearheaded, the recruiting efforts for certain players. But it was a staff effort also, and it took that as we went through. I'll take your question.
You mentioned this is third year. You've had a lot of time to build relationships, and I think that Marquez and Isaiah, how long that process, how long you've been building relationships, how important is that, instability moving forward, how important is that for relationships?
Very important. Talking about Marquez Beeson, Coach Andrew Hayes Stoker, of course, spearheaded the drive with him. We have, of course, we have a few of us from Texas. We have connections down there, but it's more than that. It is about, as we sell our university, it's about relationships and trust. Parents trusting us to help develop their sons, of course, on the football field, but off the field too. And again, just to buy into what's getting ready to happen here with Illinois football. Same thing with Isaiah, of course. Coach Patterson has known him. And it has to be more than just you knowing someone, though. You kind of have to believe in what we're doing. And that's exactly what we see.
Coach, you mentioned the additions to the staff that are coming. Do you have a timeline for when that would be?
No timeline. When we get it filled, we'll let you know. And again, you have to have priorities as you're going through. And our priorities right now have been just that, getting to this day, getting to this first signing period. I kind of see that as the end of the season a little bit. And that's kind of where we are. But we have a lot of options for our staff. That won't be a problem as we go forward. I have an idea of the direction we're going to go.
When kids asked about that during recruiting, did that come up? Not having a coordinator on defensive end?
No.
How do you answer that?
Well, I've coached a little bit of defense is how I started answering it. And they felt pretty comfortable with that. And the leadership from that side. We're going to replace, but we have coaches there right now. So with what we have on staff right now, everybody that came on board, they're okay with what they know about us right now and the direction that we're going.
Did you like last year's kind of timeline? Is that why you kind of mirrored that last year? You took time, holiday break, got cleared.
Yeah, I think that's how I assume everybody does it. What's priority? The first signing period. You took off right away. Played Northwestern. We're out pretty much the next day, and that's what we've been doing until, the dead period started up Sunday. And now there's time to do all those other things. So we don't play a game tomorrow. We have plenty of time to get everything else done.
With Seth and Keefe, you were Power 5 school staff, and then kind of maybe drawing last week. What was it mean to you guys to sign those two guys when you got in, obviously?
Well, when you get on someone that early, and Coach Austin Clark spearheaded, the recruitment for both of those guys, I think that means something to them. But for us, we're going on our evaluation. We had a chance to see both of those guys in person. We saw Seth, of course, in a camp way back in Macon, Georgia. So that, of course, told us a lot. We got a chance to see Keefe so much also, right up until East St. Louis versus his basketball team this past weekend. But I think it helped when you get on guys early. But we knew they were good football players, and says a lot that they wanted to come on board.
On the defensive side of the ball, being what last year was and everything, you addressed a lot of issues. You had some talent on there to begin with. Now you've got even more talent coming in there once everything meshes together. What do you think how good can this unit be?
Well, it's got to be a lot better, and it will be a lot better. I'm going to start off first with we have excellent football players here. We didn't get a chance to see all of them this past year, but we'll get them back healthy. But these new additions should help an awful lot too. And for good players like we're talking about right now to get on board, they saw an opportunity also. As we go out and recruit, young players want to know that they can play, have an opportunity to play early on. We're on record of playing players, and if you feel like you're ready to go, you're going to get an opportunity here. I think that helped an awful lot too.
You mentioned Austin spearheading the recruitments for Seth and Keith. What do you feel like he kind of brought?
And
to
Moses also.
And Moses also. What do you feel like he kind of brought to the recruiting trail that allowed him to connect to these players and eventually come recruiting?
Well, I think it helps. First off, when you get into recruiting, and of course, Coach Patterson, Coach Ward also helped out with those guys too. I think when you get in recruiting, you get to know an individual coach well, but he may not coach you. I think it helps a little bit when a guy is telling you, hey, come here, do this. And I'm the guy that's tutoring you each day. The guys buy into that also, and that was the case with our defensive line. As we go through, we'll break up by recruiting area, but eventually the position coach is going to really be as involved as anyone in the recruitment of that athlete. So I think you're getting a chance to know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and those three linemen that you talked about bought into that. Yes, Pat, we can officially talk about him, correct? Yes. What will Kyron Comby bring? Speed. Most of the guys will say, if you ask them, one of the first things I ask, can a guy run? We want to be a fast team. And not, hey, his coach said that he's a 4.5 guy, a 4.6 guy. What does he have on record? Kyron Comby is one of the fastest guys around, period. When you're in track, you run a 10.3 something, you can move. And that's something you're always looking to add some speed. So that's what he'll bring to the table. And all these guys we're talking about, when you go through recruiting, we're grinding on the road. You get a chance to meet so many great people and so many great families. Just not one athlete that's coming into our Fighting Illini family, but that's what he'll bring: speed, quickness, big playability. No, size is one of the most overrated things I think there is. Strength isn't, but no, it's about what you can do from, of course, maybe the head up, chin up, but then the, waist down. Speed and quickness. They don't give you extra points for being bigger, tall, any of that. We want guys that can get it, across that goal line as soon as possible, and that's what we're getting. So it happens some of our athletes don't fit that prototype that you're looking for. I was asked today about Isaiah's height. Told him the Heisman Trophy winner in 6 feet. That doesn't seem to stop, great players from making plays.
What's between now and training camp? How many more kids do you anticipate adding?
It'd be hard, for me to give you the exact number, but I can say we'll be adding more, maybe sooner than later. This period of time, this is a milestone, this mark today, but there's so much more. Of course, we have a second signing period coming up. But in the meantime, we look to improve our ball club in any way, whether it be through grad transfers in general. We're going to look at all avenues to improve our ball club, and we feel like we'll be able to add some more.
I understand that last week Marquez didn't start at cornerback, but they needed him to kind of slot in, and he played well. You were there. How impressive was that to see that and kind of sort of that challenge?
Yes, as we talk about what Marquez would bring, Marquez played wide receiver most of the year. And when you're in high school, you may not play in that position you'll end up playing in college. You put your best athletes where you need them. And most high schools, and they have a great player like Marquez, will play a lot of offense. But in the end, what happened is there was a great player on the other team making catches, and Marquez was put out there and played well, to say the least.
Coach, you've met with most of your kids that are coming back, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. You have lost a couple. Do you anticipate any more leaving, or do you think you're pretty much where you are now?
Well, you don't anticipate a lot of guys leaving, but I think college football has changed a little bit. Now seem like more guys are quicker to transfer. Don't know of anyone else that's leaving our program. We hope that, as we talk about other guys buying into what we're doing and wanting to be a part of this change that's getting ready to happen. I think the guys that that left and finished up the season were on board with that. So don't anticipate anyone, but we'll deal with that if we have to.
There are all these bowl games going on now. Do you want you guys watching those and saying, we need to be there next year? Is that kind of, you do that for motivation? You want them to
Well, I think we all realize that. I mean, I want guys to watch football in general. I think if you're a football junkie right now, yeah, you're going to watch the bowl games, watch every NFL game, watch anything related to football. But I don't think you need to see that to know that we need to be a bowl team. We need to take a big step this coming season. But if you talk to our guys, they don't, again, they're there right now. They know what we need to do. Right now, all we can do to help that out is to add more players to the mix, and do some things with our coaching staff. We'll do that. Player-wise, they're in that frame of mind right now.
Griffin Moore is another kid who's
I'm sorry?
Griffin Moore.
Yes.
What is it about him that you kind of like to fit in at tight end?
Well, as much as anything, we look for good athletes. I mean, bigger athletes will play some of the positions that require a bigger athlete. Griffin Moore, yeah, he played quarterback most of the time. He's an excellent basketball player, good student. We're just trying to add as many good football players to the mix as possible. So happen Griffin is also close by, like a local guy, which adds a little bit different flavor to it also. Excited about having him join our team. As I said about, everyone kind of knows what LeRae has been going through. We've been out recruiting. We've communicated, and I had a chance to talk with him. No decisions have been made. I'm still gathering information as much as anything. There's a certain standard that we have of what we expect from our ball players. They know that. If we don't feel like certain players are meeting that, we'll wish them well. If they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do after we've researched it, we'll keep them on the team. Nothing to report right now.
Going back to Marquez, what kind of playmaking ability do you feel like you can bring to the defensive side of the ball?
I think everything you're looking for, and just as a cornerback, about a 6 feet corner, excellent speed, quickness, as competitive as anyone around, has played top-level football. This past week, 50-plus thousand they played in front of down at their high school games, so big crowds aren't going to really bother them that much. And when you're a good football player like that, and you can go anywhere in the country, and you choose to come to the University of Illinois, and it's not like it was a late night convince Marquez the last hour. No, they bought into it, and they believe in what we're doing. So the sky's the limit for what he can do. Excited. We're excited about getting our hands on him, coaching him up. Players in general, yes.
With the number of freshmen you added in the last 2 classes, do you feel like you put you in a more better position? Do they add some older guys just to fill spots?
Good point. Yes. As we initially came in, we played, 15, 16 freshmen right away. That class, that group will be juniors this year. But in an ideal world, yeah, you want a few bridges, just a little, cherry on top a little bit, you can say. With a few older players coming in, you can definitely make a case for that. And again, as I say, we're going to look, that may be the case. Graduate transfers in general, we're going to look at all different ways to improve our team.
Because this is the first time we've had a chance to talk to you since your extension was announced by Jeff Whitman. Just your thoughts on that, how much does that help you in terms of recruiting and all the other things you're trying to do?
First off, it's great that the university has confidence in the direction we're heading with our team. Have confidence in, yeah, you're talking about me, but for our staff. That meant an awful lot. But that's what I've gotten from Josh Whitman since I've been here. We're going to build it this way. We're disappointed in where our record right now and what we've done, but it's a process, and we've all been in this process together. That's confirming it to the people on the outside a little bit, but that's what I've gotten from the administration all along. We know that we're going to get better, and it's going to happen soon. But it's good to get that. This, you know, as I talked all along, this is my last stop. Excited about that. But again, I'm excited about it for me, but I'm excited for our staff. You know, this is an excellent staff. And for us now to lock in together is a big deal.
Coach, if you talk a little bit about the guys that you've already got on campus here, I'm not sure what the scholarship situation is for the young men from Valparaiso, from the linebackers from Washington, from the kicker from Danville. And do they count for this recruiting class?
Well, yes, they do. Lauren, good question. First off, Caleb. How about Caleb Griffin first? Yes, he's a scholarship player for us. We'll have an opportunity to be our kicker going forward. We're really excited about him. He turned down major offers to be a part of our ball club last year. He's one that you mentioned as our kicker. Donnie Navarro would be the other that you're talking about. Sit out all the last year. We got a chance to go against the one defense throughout the year. We had a chance to really see him. Great speed, quickness. He'll get into the mix this year. So there are some players like that. You know, as you look, guys added to this mix also. Larry Boyd didn't play this past year. He's added to this football team. Vertus Brown didn't play this year. He's also added to this football team. So we're going to add from a lot of different places as we go through. Linebacker-wise, Camilo Eifler also is another that didn't play this past year. So we have yeah, these are all scholarship players I'm talking about. These were all guys that were on scholarship that didn't play this past year. That, yes, Lauren, you should count these players in the mix with these guys coming in today. And as I said, I'm giving you some general thoughts. Our staff is back here, and they can go into detail on exactly how the recruitment went and, how it's looking at, the different positions. Thank you.